My very special guest in the studio, Mr. Emmanuel Kutin, is Executive Director, Africa Center for Security and Counter-Terrorism. Emmanuel, good morning. Happy Friday.
My dear, and thank you for having me.
It's a brand new month.
Yeah. It is. And we thank God the month of September is over.
Okay.
I know October is bringing a lot of good stuff.
Hey, the way you are smiling, I don't know.
A lot of good stuff.
Eric Maunek also in the studio.
Yeah.
If you believe it, say, I receive it.
I receive it.
Okay.
I receive it.
Okay.
That I must say emphatically, actually.
You receive it.
Yeah, I receive
Did
it.
anybody, Emmanuel, wish you happy new month when the month started?
You
know it's a
happy new
trend.
month.
Yeah.
They send you sometimes a flyer with some flowers, a happy new month.
In fact, I receive a lot, especially from
then your
my
bill
loved
is
ones.
hefty.
Except I didn't get one from my dearest Helen. And
Guilty as charged.
Guilty as charged, yes. I received a lot. But from TV, I think, but I didn't also send any.
Yeah.
We are on a campaign.
Guilty as charged.
We're on a special campaign when it comes to Happy New Month. I'll fill
Helen
you in.
says Happy New
on
Month
the back end.
comes with billing.
Yes.
And you know, it's the birthday of Honorable Alan Tremantin.
Oh,
today.
Oh, I see.
Very fantastic gentleman.
That's why Solo is not here.
That's why
The
Solo
Yellow
is
Army
there.
is partying.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you observe today,
Uh-huh.
you will not see the Yellow Army on any media platform.
Oh.
In solidarity with the celebration of the birthday of their boss.
Oh, I see.
Emmanuel, how do you get all this
sweet,
fella?
How sweet and how beautiful.
How do you get all this fella? Are you part of the Afro movement?
They are my friends.
A very, very happy birthday to Alan Tremantin, leader of the Movement for Change, soon to be a party. Solomon Owusu has been teasing us for some, actually, months now. So, Solo, wherever you are, we're missing you on today's discussion, but I understand that there's a serious yellow party that's going to be happening. So you are pardoned for the morning. Now, we have some issues tabled for today's big conversation. The first on the list is the President of the Republic meeting CSOs on the issue of Galamsey. And Mauna, I'm not entirely sure what time that is slated for.
It's 2
Maybe
p.m.
2 p.m.
today.
2 p.m. Okay, so we'll have to wait for those sound bites. I was hoping it would be a bit earlier because I'm really expecting, as CSOs was suggesting this morning, a very frank and open conversation. So, Emmanuel, my first question to you is, do you think we have been engaging in too much talk? That came up this morning as part of our discussions, that we know how to talk and talk and talk. It's time to do and do and do.
My dear Ellen, good morning once again. And very good morning to our cherished listeners. In fact, you are the reason we are here. And we really appreciate your time listening to us. Helen, it's a difficult one. In the spirit of democracy, I think that we should give the president a listening ear. Because you remember last week, Hamza broke the news here.
Yeah.
And within a week, this is happening. So your media landscape is really making waves. I know they listen to us. And he said government has a superior alternative other than declaring the state of emergency. So I think it's fair we listen to the superior alternative the president has for the good people of this country. Because we are all calling for a state of emergency. He's saying no, we've not gotten to that stage yet. I'm listening to a lot of my colleagues, the CSOs, who are of the view that enough of the talking, we have to get to the action. And if you look at the issue of Galamsey, my dear Ellen, it's with us, the food on our table. Maybe people think it's far away. The water we bring. In my place for the past 2 weeks, no water. If you want to trace the remote cause, it will be because of the turbidity level of our water. And if you look at the security dimension of it too, what we often fail to look at, and we are not serious about it, is the foreigners who are engaged in these activities. We did some research, and what we found out was quite alarming. You know, most of the Sahelian nationals are deeply involved in Galamsey in this country.
Really?
If they are not sponsors, they are directly used as laborers. So you ask yourself, what kind of profiling are we doing in these areas? Apart from the environmental aspect, these are the challenges that we have to confront with. The unintended consequences of this Galamsey is the violent extremist nozzles we are overlooking. And one may also ask, my dear Ellen, you see, NDC is forgetting something. I can say on authority that NDC is in power primarily because of the personal demeanor of the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. And if you look at the record of this gentleman, even in opposition, he always admitted when his party was at fault. That is where he won the heart of the people. So in 2016, when he brought a certain posture, Ghanaians began to question whether this is the John Dramani Mahama they knew. You saw the consequences that befell the party.
That's right.
He went back to the basis to reconnect with the people. What did he do? He sincerely admitted his fault and apologized to the good people of this country that indeed have erred. Now you have an opportunity, and to me, I see his current presidency as a legacy presidency. He has to leave a legacy and exit.
That's right.
And the good people of this country are calling for a particular thing. We are not saying that declare the entire nation a state of emergency, as some people are trying to look at the constitutional dimension and stuff, as I heard the chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Asidu Nketia, erroneously portray. In security parlance, why do we declare curfews when there are emergencies? Is that not it? What we are saying is that declare a state of emergency around our water bodies and our forest reserves. I don't think this is a difficult thing to do. Declaring those areas a security zone has been what we have always done. Because if you look at the Constitution, our water bodies and our water reserve has always been security zones.
So this intervention
is
not even a new intervention.
It's not a new intervention. Our water bodies and our forest reserves have always been security zones. Otherwise, why do we declare such areas as forest reserves? Why do we do that? And you see, if you listen to the Ghana Medical Association, it's so alarming. They are lamenting about strange diseases they are discovering. They are lamenting on new form of cancers they are discovering. And our health infrastructure is not robust enough to take care of these emergencies. So why should we play with our lives with economics? The balancing act has to kick in quickly. What is the use of life? What is the use of economics when we are all dead? If you are not alive, can you engage in comments? Can you even feed? Or if you are not healthy, what at all can you do to help this country? So to me, until we hear from the president today, if the conversation is that they want to convince us to understand their initial stand of security zones, then this meeting is a waste of taxpayers' money. But if they are bringing alternatives apart from what we know, that is perfect.
Okay.
We will interrogate and see where to put the things right. People are talking about the law, declare state of emergency and things. Mawina, the law was meant for the people. Is that not it?
Right.
Or someone will say the law is meant for the people. If I am not alive today, what is the consequences of the law? Whom are you going to apply it on?
Right.
So one precedes the other. So it's a commonsensical approach. We have to look at this existential threat that is facing us. Or we want to wait for an environmental apocalypse to happen and then we are all scratching our heads. And look, government cannot do this alone.
Right.
We have to involve our chiefs. And I like the comment by the Domahine, who is now been promoted to an appeals court judge. I listened to him yesterday and I was very proud of him. He said, look, chiefs must help government to combat these menace because they own the land and they allow people to enter this land. He used his own place as an example. Doma, if you come there, you get you arrested. So if he can do it, why can't other chiefs do it? Let's even use Asantehene as an example. Mm-hmm. When we celebrated Asantehine's funeral, there was an order for people not to come out on a particular day. Did they obey or they didn't obey?
They obeyed because there was enforcement.
Yes.
In fact, they dared not come out.
So are you sure if Asantehene, with the enormous power that he has, if he should declare the entire Ashanti region a no-go zone for Galamsey, anybody would dare go there? So our chiefs, we revered you. You are the moral authority of our traditional values. And some of us have personally advocated that the chieftaincy institution should be the fourth arm of government, such that we don't lose the moral equation in our democratic dispensation. Because as a people, when you lose your values, you are lost as a people.
Are we getting there?
We are getting there. It's just how government will go about the decentralization program. Mm-hmm. At least there's a Minister of Chieftaincy. Is that not?
Yeah.
It should trickle in that way to incorporate the National House of Chiefs as the fourth arm of government. And we look at our constitutional consideration and look at how we plug in. Because if you look at our societies, people even respect and revere their chiefs than the political class. Otherwise, why do politicians go and bow before the chiefs? Why do they do that? Even if you go back to history, when the British came to rule this country with the indirect rule, what did they use? They used the chiefs. Yeah. They themselves realized that they couldn't have done that on their own. Democracy is just an experiment we copy from the West. Even democracy itself is in crisis, given what is happening in the United States of America.
In fact, all over the world.
Because of democracy. And if you look at throughout the world, democracy has lost its value because of this choose and pick kind of things. So are we going to go by the straight jacket, by the democratic whatever we are inheriting from the West? We need to infuse our own traditional values. I've said this here before. Are we saying that the best must always come from the West? Can the best come from Africa? Are we not sitting in the same classroom and learning with these people?
That's right.
We even perform and outperform a lot of them. Go and look back at history, inventions, and technology. It's mostly blacks. And these were people who were, taken away from us through other enticement, through poor leadership of Africa. I dare say that Africa is not poor, and no African child should go to bed without food, but it's because of leadership. Look at the natural resources God has endowed us with. Look at Ghana, for instance. What don't we have? Because of the greed of a few people and politics, we are destroying our environment. We are poisoning our water bodies. And this one too, we want the Westerners to come and tell us that it's not good. Stop it.
Now, Emmanuel, when it comes to this issue of declaring a state of emergency, in recent times we keep hearing that we could potentially see some excesses. From a security standpoint, what is there for a cause of alarm? People say that, well, even if you declare certain areas as, declare a state of emergency in a certain area, somebody will get up one day and they are going to their farm, and a security person, i.e. maybe the military, will see the person and just shoot them down, and that could have dire consequences on the image of the president. Like we've seen in other places, he'll go and face The Hague. I've heard that now being trumpeted. What are your thoughts on that?
These are some of the inaccuracies and misrepresentation people bundle these things here. Let me tell you, the cabals behind Galamsey in this country, they are so powerful. They are also positioning people to make this kind of inaccurate statements.
We actually heard today that they are was it yesterday?
About 2 days ago.
2 days ago, that they are installing chiefs in some of these local areas as well.
Exactly. So you see, they are talking about when the constitution of the country is suspended. Let's say a constitutionally elected government is overthrown, a military. We are not talking about that. For this very issue, we have the support of the good people of this country. Every citizen has come to the realization that this is not about party A or party B. It's about our very existence. When you declare state of emergency on our water bodies and our forest reserves, how is this going to trample upon the rights of citizens? Under normal circumstances, those areas are forbidden for certain activities. In the forest reserve, are you going to do farming there?
Definitely not.
On our water bodies, are you going to do any kind of economic activity there?
Definitely not.
So what are we talking about?
They say
And
it
we
will
are not
affect the
even
districts around those areas.
No, look, we are not saying that declare these areas a state of emergency in these areas in perpetuity. No. Some of us are even proposing 6 months. Within these 6 months, we can get everybody out, whether you are licensed or non-licensed. Then after that, government can start having engagement with stakeholders, review certain licenses that were issued. Look at the last 8 years. 2,000 plus licenses were issued. Who were these licenses issued to? And under what conditions? So if there's a state of emergency declared in these areas, everybody can come to base and this auditing can begin. Is that not it, and even before His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo left government in his last days, how many licenses were issued? So we shouldn't pretend like ostriches, and we shouldn't think that fighting corruption in this country is easy. It's not. And the people behind Galamsey, a lot of them are not even Ghanaians. These financial engineers, this money is coming abroad. When the Chinese ambassador spoke, what did he say? That we are blaming Chinese for the wrong reason. Who invites them? Is it not Ghanaians? Because we don't have money. We go and bring them. They come and extract and take the resources away. Are we saying that in China they don't have those mineral resources?
China is one of the places
their laws.
Rare earth minerals, actually.
Yes, they enforce their laws. Why can't we enforce our own? In fact, Nkrumah and Co will be turning in their grave.
Speaking of the Chinese, I recall maybe it would have been around 2022, 2023 when the Galamsey conversation was quite rife. I'm trying to recall exactly who it was. Was it coming from the embassy? And the Chinese official said that we are hearing this conversation, in that the people of Ghana are having. You have your laws, we have ours. If our people come to your land and violate your laws, you have the power to do with them as you please. These are your laws. This is your land. And I thought that was quite scathing on us because they recognize that there seemed to be some type of shifting of blame. But which Chinese person knows Abrewa and crime? They don't know there unless you hold their hand and take them straight to a burning crime. Now, this conversation that's going to be taking place at 2 p.m. between the president and the CSOs, I believe, is going to be a bit of a tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
They're listening to the president, and the president will also be listening to the CSOs. Really, what more can they add to the conversation? I think people say everything has been said. What are you looking for on the part of the CSOs?
In fact, speaking to my colleagues, most of them said they have nothing
to say.
They are just going to listen to the president. Because all that has to be said
has been said
already. We have reached that tipping point. The president needs to take action. And you see, you talk and they'll put this task force and they will be doing selective arrests.
Selective arrests?
Yes.
Is that happening today?
That is what we are hearing. The NOMOs or whatever. NIMOs they put. They are doing selective arrests. There are accusations and counter accusations.
Already.
So that's why some of us feel that any form of whatever they do, whether they term it, declare security zones, bringing whatever forces or whatever, is what we have done in the past.
They say you are speaking from a place of trauma. Because what you saw in the last 8 years is what is informing you today. That in the past you saw Galamsey stop, Operation Halt 1, Halt 2, and maybe that is what is making you believe that this new dispensation will do the same thing to you.
Look, when NDC was in opposition, what was their position on Galamsey?
They said we had reached emergency point.
Good.
We had reached fever pitch, state of emergency.
Exactly. They have been in government close to a year now. What have changed? I don't like the political equalization when it comes to serious issues that affect me and you. That is our very existence. That is why some of us, we have elected that even at the peril of our lives, when it comes to certain things, we'll say it as it is. We have to remove the nuances of politics and say the things as it is. My dear Ellen, let me ask you, in Ghana, when it comes to law enforcement, what is really working in this country?
Law enforcement?
Yes. When I talk about law enforcement, I'm looking at the entire facet of our dispensation. Look at how filthy our cities are. Go and look at the amount of money that has been voted into this kind of activities. Look at the indiscipline on our roads, from our drivers, and even the state of our vehicles that applies on our roads. Yesterday I was in Trotro.
You were in Trotro.
I was in Trotro yesterday.
What were you doing in Trotro?
Oh, look, my dear Ellen, in this country, if you want information, sit in Trotro. If you want, and
there's a lot of chatter in the bus.
I tell you, I was even fortunate to sit by a very beautiful lady. So I was really enjoying my time. And the information I was gathering, I'm telling you, the ordinary Ghanaian has come to that point. They don't believe in our political class anymore. And if care is not taken, it will go and affect the heart of our democracy. Don't be surprised at time no one will waste time to go and queue to vote, because they will feel that the value is the same. You see MPP in opposition today, they are singing loud over Galamsey, what government need to be doing and not doing. When they were in power, we said some of these things. They didn't hear. Yeah. They were deaf.
Now they are trumpeting them.
And when Miraculous Abuaji and Co. tried to do a spin on him, they play back what he said when he was there.
That's right.
So this country, we may think that it's for the few political class or the rich ones. But I want to say this on record, without any fear or favor, that look, if you make conditions only favorable to the very few and the majority are suffering, you yourself will become a target and you cannot even sleep in your homes. That is why it is good to make conditions favorable for everybody, then everybody can go by his or her duty peacefully and sleep peacefully.
Let me pick your thoughts on this, Emmanuel. This idea that we should follow the money. I was at a conference recently and I had a conversation with a few people that had attended the conference. I won't mention which conference it was. And they said, you media guys, you are missing a certain leg of the conversation. Are you asking maybe the Bank of Ghana to look into certain records and, are you following the scent of the money? Because it costs a lot of money to bring an excavator.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money to bring mercury. We don't produce mercury in this country. We're importing it. Are we following the trail? Are we following the money? And what do you think makes it so difficult for us to do that? We're not saying that, we need to be prying into the private affairs of people, but certainly there are certain kinds of purchases and amounts that should send some alarm bells going. We know you are into this business. All of a sudden, we see that you are now bringing in a lot of different goods. I mean, there's some kind of forensic work or some forensic trick that we're missing in this conversation. How do you view that assertion?
You see, it's just simply the lack of political will. And all political parties in this country are guilty of as charged. My dear Ellen, let's go back and look at our political finances in this country. The kingpins of Galamsey, they finance these political parties. I'm telling you. And people could not do or stop it primarily because of that. NDC is pussyfooting on this matter because of that.
When we say that, what
because
evidence do we have?
I've been told from
Credibly?
my insider. I've been told from my insider that for the first year, you are allowed to do whatever you want to do. But after 1 year, they are going to clamp down seriously. So if get what you can get. That is the information some of us are picking. That is why the government is pussyfooting on this.
Allegedly.
That's why I said Intel. Intel could be true or false. Otherwise, I don't see. And look, we digitize our financial system. Under the previous government, what people didn't know is that at national security, right, there were dedicated officials assigned to the various banks to check the inflows of money in and out of the country. If certain inflows weren't right, they flag it. So, to your question,
yes,
if we have all this in place, why can't we enforce it? And you realize that in this country, even though we digitalize our financial system, people who are engaged in some of these activities still want to deal in cash. Look, if national security wanted to really work, do soups in people's homes, the amount of money they'll find in their homes, it will amaze you. Were we not in this country when a minister's house got burnt in East Legon and millions of dollars were allegedly burnt in that house? What was that money doing in that house? Who even investigated that incident? Who did? Look at the issue of the Edubahin, the CCTV camera image, and what they were carrying. So in this country, just the lack of political will. And sometimes I dare say that democracy is not good for Africa. Or should I say power is not good for we Africans. Because when we are looking for power, we are different animals.
See us braiding hair, pounding
but
fufu,
when we
carrying
get power,
babies.
it's a different thing. And already NDC came to power under 1 year. Some of their big men now, the ministers, CSOs, who used to worry some of us with phone calls. Now, if you call them, they don't pick.
They are busy.
Busy doing what? Busy doing what?
I want us to round up on this conversation. I've got to go on a very quick break, but to finally put a bow on this particular topic, Emmanuel, what do you want to see after today's conversation between the president and the CSOs? What is the best outcome after today's 2 p.m. meeting?
Beyond the superior argument the government is saying it has and want to have a conversation with the stakeholders. If it is about convincing us that declaring security zones in this area is the way to go now, I think that it will not suffice. And I think after this meeting, if government is not declaring a state of emergency in these security zones, every citizen, whether you are NDC or MPP, should rise up and fill the streets. And let's save, if not our lives, the lives of our children. Because our water is poisoned, our lands are equally poisoned. What we eat, my favorite contemporary, you see the analysis they did on it, the acidic level and mercury and whatever in it was so high. So I stopped eating contemporary.
You stopped?
I stopped because the contemporary comes from these areas.
Hey,
unless you're growing it in your own backyard.
When you go to certain places, you close your nose. So the EPA says even the air is contaminated.
But look, the air being contaminated is not as serious as eating chemicals. 7 chemicals on our plates. It's not. Even our cocoa production. We are talking about increasing farmers' prices and stuff like that.
That's
Is that
right.
not it?
That's right.
What is the use of those increases when our cocoa will soon be downgraded in the international market
because of the
activities
chemicals?
of Galamsey? Because we produce one of the premium cocoa in the world. Unfortunately, Ecuador has taken our path. They are also producing the same premium cocoa, and they are in poor position to overtake us. And the difference is that they are doing it in a sustainable manner. We are not doing that here. Even people are cutting down their cocoa trees
to grow
to do Galamsey. Can you imagine that? And we are talking about forests. So now, this Galamsey thing could bring us immediate relief. Are we talking about the future? What has been the backbone of this country over the period? Is it not cocoa?
That's right.
So we have to do a balancing act here. So the president meeting essentially today must be two things. Either they have a superior agreement other than the state of emergency, or the president will admit that he's going to declare a state of emergency. And look, the last time they did the demo against on the Galamsey thing, very few people came out.
You mean the recent one?
Yes.
In fact, I
asked
attended. I
myself,
think there were
Ghanaians,
about 50 of us there.
So I asked myself, the Ghanaians, are we really serious? Why should we leave the fight of these serious menace in the hands of very few? These are issues in advanced democracy. The street will be full. It will be filled like you cannot even move left or right. So I will plead with Ghanaians. It's about our lives. Let's put the politics aside and look at how we can safeguard our very existence than talking even about our children. And for us, we have lost it.
24 after 9, this is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. We pause now for a quick break. When we come back, we'll get into the swearing in of justices of the Court of Appeal. We'll also talk about the reviewed cocoa price for 2025 and 2026. We'll also be joined by Julius Jima, Executive Director, Center for Economic and Financial Analysis. Don't go too far.
This October.
Court, my lords and ladies, justices of the courts of appeal, honorable ministers of state, sorry, I should have acknowledged Your Excellency the Vice President, Jenana Opokwajumai, senior government officials, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. You know, I was remarking to Nana, I'm quite proud of this batch of appeal court justices because, and the reason is that out of 20, we have 9 women. The affirmative action law says 30% of appointments. This one we're beating 30% by far. But thank you very much, and I wish to warmly welcome you to the presidency. It is with great honor and a solemn duty that I welcome you to the presidency for this important occasion, the swearing in of our new justices of the Court of Appeal. This is not merely a ceremony of robes and oaths. It is a more efficient and accessible to our people. The first is digitizing the courts so that adjournments and delays no longer frustrate ordinary citizens. The second is creating specialized divisions at the High Court and Court of Appeal to handle land disputes, commercial cases, and labor matters which too often drag on for many years. Introducing time-bound case management systems to ensure that justice delayed is no longer justice denied. Expanding legal and aid services to ensure that justice is not for the privileged or the wealthy, but the right of every Ghanaian. Strengthening judicial ethics and accountability so that misconduct and corruption find no place within our courts. These are not abstract promises, they are concrete steps that will make justice not only more credible, but also more hopeful. Let us remember that justice is not separate from development. Justice is the invisible infrastructure on which every economy, every community, and every democracy rests. Investors will not risk their capital where contracts can be overturned by bias and prejudice. Entrepreneurs will not thrive where land disputes trap them in endless litigation. Communities cannot live in peace where verdicts are held in doubt. And that is why the renewal of our courts is at the heart of our economic transformation. Our 24-hour economy, our big push infrastructure program, and our broader vision of shared prosperity. Justice is not a luxury, it is a foundation for all these. My lords and lady justices, as you assume your new roles, I ask you to carry these 3 virtues. The first is courage, the second is integrity, and the third is humility. Courage to resist pressure, whether political or financial. Let me go over that. Courage to resist pressure, whether political or financial, and to uphold the law even when it is unpopular. Integrity to ensure that justice cannot be bought, delayed, or bent by influence.
3FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Members, not those who followed the path of least resistance, but those who stood firmly for principle when it mattered most. At this moment in our national journey, Ghanaians need reason to hold on to hope. They need to believe again that the courts are not distant temples of law, but living guardians of fairness. Every decision you make can rekindle that belief. Every ruling you make can remind citizens that Ghana is still a land where truth prevails and justice is not for sale. I urge you therefore to be not only arbiters of law, but also custodians of hope. Carry with you the solemn truth that justice is the most powerful promise of our democracy, and that through your service, this promise would endure. 92.7. If you do this, then long after you have left the bench, your names will not be merely recorded in law reports, they will be remembered in the hearts of Ghanaians as justices who renewed our faith in our republic. As you take your oaths today, know that you swear not only before me as president, not only before the Chief Justice, but before God, before history, and before the people whose lives you will touch with your judgments. May your judgments be wise, May your service be faithful and may your legacy be enduring. On behalf of the government and people of Ghana, I extend a warm welcome and congratulations to you on this noble calling. May justice prevail, may hope endure, and that may our nation be renewed. I thank you, and may God bless our judiciary. While I'm living.
And that was the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, speaking there at the swearing-in of the Justices of the Court of Appeal. We're back in studio. Emmanuel Kuting is still here with us, as is Eric Mawina Egbeta. Those were some powerful words there from the President on what exactly he is looking to see or hoping to see from these newly sworn-in appellate judges. What did you make of some of the sound bites? He says that they need to be fearless in their dispensation of the law, without fear, without favor, and to let the people of Ghana know that justice is not a luxury.
Well, my dear Ellen, to me, mixed signals. And the reason we have to have very cautious optimism. On the positive side, he's talking, he has a strong rhetoric on integrity. And he also spoke about commitment to reforms.
That's right.
He did also mention about justice not being for sale. And I was particularly happy that a chief was among these appeal court judges. I think to bridge the gap between our traditional legal jurisprudence and that of the judiciary. And notably too, we had more women. He was talking about the quota, and you know me, I'm an advocacy for women empowerment.
That's right.
And for that one, you cannot take that away from me. But there are serious concerns. Public trust in our judiciary has sunk so low. If you look at the Afrobarometer report, it's not looking good at all. I think over 62% of Ghanaians don't have trust in our judicial service. And what is more alarming is that 92% don't trust our judges. That is quite problematic. In 2015, you remember that NAS expose.
Indeed.
Where over 30 judges were caught even negotiating the outcome of verdicts in court. And there's also the issue of political bias. And that is what is affecting us as a country, especially the Supreme Court, the apex of the court. It came to a time they used to call them unanimous 11 or unanimous 5 or so.
Unanimous FC.
FC, yes. Because you could predict the outcome of matters that was before the court.
Based on who the political actors were.
Exactly. And everything came to a crescendo when the number one gentle lady of the place, the former Chief Justice, was suspended for misconduct. So I think the judiciary is actually in crisis, and we need to look at how reforms can come in these areas. So to me, listening to the President, I cannot clearly say it's good or bad. But the weight of history is very heavy. I don't think appointment alone addresses systematic issues.
That's true.
Appointments alone cannot address the systematic issues we have within our judicial service. And I think that the weight is on the newly appointed judges. If you look at the appeals court, it's the bridge between the High Court and the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I call it the People's Court because that is the only opportunity you have as a citizen to ventilate your rights if you feel that justice was not gotten by a single judge who have ruled on your matter at the High Court. So the weight is on the judges whether they can resist political and financial pressures, whether they can demonstrate consistent impartiality. And the other issue had to do with they must take it as a role to restore the catastrophic breakdown in public trust. And I think that if we can do all of this, we can support rather than resist the genuine reforms we are all yearning for. So to me, I'm praying that these appeal court justices can go and turn the things around. At least they have to look at the systematic issues confronting our judiciary. And I think the mood in appointing the Chief Justice, we have to also look at it. I've always talked about reforms within our institutions. And just like Parliament, you see the parliamentarians, they elect their Speaker of Parliament.
That's right.
It gives them that impartiality. I'm looking at a time where our judiciary systems will be put in place so that it is not a process so-called where the Judicial Council that is heavily politicized. I recommended somebody for the president to appoint. But the system within the judiciary will be able to elect somebody within their own, whether based on seniority, qualifications, or other things. Then we properly have separation of powers. Even in advanced democracies, even in the United States of America, the president still appoints the Chief Justice. And this is quite problematic. That's why I said good things can come from Africa as well.
Yeah.
If they are doing it and it's not right, let's set the example so that the West can also learn from we Africans.
Absolutely. Thank you for your thoughts on that, Emmanuel. We'll park it here on that subject. I want us to also talk about government increasing 2025-2026 cocoa crop season price by some 400 Ghana cedis. Now, government has announced an additional 400 cedis on every 64 kg bag of cocoa for farmers for the 2025-2026 crop season. Now, at the inception of the season, farmers were earning 3,225 cedis per 64 kg bag of cocoa. The addition of 400 cedis means that Ghanaian farmers will now earn 3,625 cedis per every 64 kg bag of cocoa. Now, speaking at an emergency press conference in Accra, Minister for Finance Kasiala Toforsin said the review will help improve the financial well-being of farmers. He explained that changes in the government forecast informed the Producer Price Review Committee to relook its price for farmers. I'm quoting him here. He says, this means that per every bag purchased, the cocoa farmer is getting 400 cedis additional. Simply put, to the ordinary cocoa farmer, for every bag the cocoa farmer sells, he'll get an additional 400 cedis. He assured that government will continue to monitor the commodity on the world markets and take appropriate decisions that will lead to the benefit of cocoa farmers. Shortly, we'll connect with Julius Jima and he'll give us his viewpoint. But back in the studio, Emmanuel, what do you make of this good news for our farmers? A step in the right direction. Very interesting as well, because we talked about the connection between Galamsey and cocoa production also in Ghana. Your bite on this one?
In fact, my dear Ellen, once again, what is the use of this increment when our cocoa is under scrutiny at the international world market? And there are always hidden conditions when we are talking about these prices. Cote d'Ivoire has increased their own.
They are at about just over 4,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes. So Ghana is taking this step to measure up to stop smuggling.
Indeed.
Because most of our cocoa farmers are now smuggling our cocoa to Cote d'Ivoire to get bigger prices. But what we don't look at is the political dimension of these increases. if you look at our own sector, right? You remember there were no increases until 2019 when we got an 80% increase. The following year was an election year, you recall. And it stalled. We didn't have any increases again until a year to the 2024 elections, so an increment came. Then NDC capitalized on that and promised a certain increment when they win power.
In fact, their increment would have taken us to 6,000 Ghana cedis per 64 kg bag.
That's the promise they made, actually.
They made.
And the opposition has been hot on their heels.
Yes. So the cocoa farmers bought into it and voted NDC to power. Do you know why Cote d'Ivoire has increased their prices? They are going to elections next month. So it's a political spin to win elections. So if you want to copy price increases because of political expediency, we will collapse our system. So to me, there is a nexus between Galamsey and our cocoa production. We should rather focus on safeguarding our environment, then we can have an impeccable premium cocoa that the world will need than increasing prices when our cocoa is under scrutiny in the international market because of the effect of Galamsey and obviously the chemicals that are polluting our lands and water bodies and stuff.
Certainly. Let me connect now with Julius Jima, Executive Director, Center for Economic and Financial Analysis. Julius, hello, good morning.
Good morning, Helen.
How are you doing? Happy New Month.
Many happy returns. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Doing well. I hope October has started out strongly for you. For our cocoa farmers, they'll say that they're having a happy new month, well, depending on how we scrutinize this conversation this morning. But what is your economic assessment of the government's decision to increase the cocoa price by some 400 cedis per 64 kilogram bag?
Helen, good morning to your cherished listeners and then viewers online as well. I think that from the economic perspective, definitely this is going to boost the motivation or perhaps the input that farmers are really putting into the production of cocoa. You know, it's an industry where several factors are affecting it, and you know, to be able to keep it alive, you need to really motivate the farmer enough to be able to bring you the produce so that we can sell it and earn our foreign exchange as the backbone of the economy, which, you know, cocoa has recently lost that particular title to gold as we speak. So I believe that the Minister of Finance and then, you know, management of Cocoa Board is really looking at that situation and make sure that whatever revenue that they get, they'll be able to apportion a greater part to the cocoa farmer so that the cocoa farmer will not be, you know, demotivated in producing cocoa for the country.
Certainly. Now, we have members of the opposition party indicating or claiming that this price increment is a far cry from the promised 6,000 Ghana cedi per bag. How do you evaluate this from a financial and a policy standpoint? Is it doable, or was it a promise that was ill-informed because of what the NDC knew at that time, or shall I say what they didn't know at that time?
Well, Helen, I would want to say that after elections, no campaign. We just have to go straight to, you know, working and making sure that we sustain a very, very, you know, historical, cultural, and then also an important industry for our country. Be it as it may, we are being faced with reality. No more politicking. We just have to go straight to the point and look at the real issues, you know, within the industry so that we can see to profess some solutions and then recommendation in making sure that the industry is kept alive. I mean, we have lived on cocoa industry for, God knows when, since independent or even before independent, you know, and I believe that this time around, we are looking at the realities, the actual transaction, what is going on around the world, the news going on around the world, and what Cocoa Board currently is going through to be able to, determine a better producer price for the ordinary farmer. And that is what I believe our focus should be on. Yes, the political dynamics and then the political access is also there, but this time around, we can put that down and really look at what is happening within the industry and how best we can support government to be able to sustain the industry. It's not easy for government, I must say, at this particular time, to be doing the increases that is going on, because you are being driven by other countries also, increasing their pricing.
That's right.
Ecuador even trying to surpass Ghana as the second producer for cocoa. It's a worrisome. And, the real impact is that we are also being faced with a natural inherent risk, which is illegal mining and then the operations of Galamsey. So I believe that we should just look at the real issues, as a country. What do we want to prioritize? Are we going to prioritize gold production over cocoa, or cocoa production over gold, so that we can safeguard our environment, protect our forest, and grow more trees? Cocoa in itself is a forest, commodity. So once we grow more cocoa, we are growing more trees for our environment. That is the hard core decisions that government will have to undergo or really take for the country, so that we can know where the balance will be. I am in all support for cocoa production, and to the extent curtailing, the activities of illegal mining in Galamsey, because cocoa has enormous benefit for the country, and it is giving a lot of jobs, indirect jobs, to 1,001 companies we have in the country, local buying companies, and then transporters. Gold do not offer that solution to the country. So it's really a very, very hurtful situation for government. But if I should go for my biases, I would want to say that government should prioritize cocoa over gold, so that in itself, trying to grow more cocoa would mean that you have to, curtail the operations of mining activity, because it's the number one, risk factor the cocoa industry is going at the moment. And if care is not taken, by the time we would realize everything, all our cocoa trees and our cocoa farms will be gone. We can see classical videos from social media that farmers are just giving out their farms voluntarily for, illegal mining operations or what have you. Even if it is legal mining operation, it is not good and it's not helping the industry. And we know what government have benefited since Kwame Nkrumah till now. And we don't want to lose such a noble, industry producing a noble commodity for our economy. That is giving a lot of jobs, creating more benefit for companies and individuals and businesses. We want to protect that against, the expense of just having gold, and then that is it. So right. I believe we have to face the realities, ignore the politicking for now, and then let us go into the specifics and the realities, so that we can really find a solution into preserving the cocoa industry.
Certainly. And Julius, my final question, and if you can answer in about a minute or so, I'll be very grateful. In the context of Ghana's broader economic challenges, how feasible would you say it is for the government to meet higher price promises without negative repercussions as the economy stands now?
Well, that will be the relationship between farmers and then the government. Government should, move closer to farmers, address their needs, probably even look at their needs assessment through monitoring and evaluation, engaging the farmers on a quarterly basis, visiting their farms to make sure that farmers are doing the right thing. Let's not forget that we earn premium from our cocoa, and it is giving us an additional $400, which is LID, living income differential, to our cocoa farmers. So, the markets really are concerned with quality premium beans. And when government is able to get more closer to the farmers, help them with their cultural and farm practices, making sure that they are getting the right application of fertilizers and insecticides and then chemicals, and then also creating an infrastructure, which is the transport system of the beans, the roads from the farm gate to the various, takeover centers from Cocoa Board. I believe that we can increase the production that we want to see. We have to move as ourselves back to the million tons that we used to witness, if not even 800,000 tons. That is fine. And when that means we'll be able to get the beans to get the money that we earn on the market, and then we'll come back to pay back the farmer what is due the farmer. But if this natural processes is being impacted by an enemy, which is also something that the government is interested in, good production, then it becomes really a difficult one, because one is protecting the lands and the environment. One will have to degrade the land and then also give away the environment. These are the things that government will really have to take a decision on. And it is only government that can take that decision as to whether the way we should go. But if cocoa and government gets more closer to the farmers, support the farmers to increase production, definitely we'll have more beans to sell. And when there are more beans to sell, the more money the country will earn, and the farmer income will also increase in that phenomenon.
Julius, thank you so much for your time this morning. Always grateful for your expert opinion and analysis.
Thank you so much for having me.
Have a wonderful weekend. Julius Jima is Executive Director, Center for Economic and Financial Analysis. And we're wrapping up on our big conversation. But before I say goodbye to Emmanuel Kutin, there's a notice that we're getting from our Junior Doctors Association, Ghana. Mauna, will you do us the honors?
Yeah, so they've served notice to withdraw their services. Over 200 doctors have worked 10 to 14 months without salaries. They say that there's been no explanation. We also have over 800 medical officers who've been awaiting posting for the past 1 year, 4 months, despite repeated engagement with authorities and goodwill shown towards the government. No solutions have been offered, and so they will proceed effective Tuesday, October 7th to Thursday, the 9th of October, withdraw all outpatient services and then withdraw emergency service from Friday the 10th of October until further notice. However, inpatient will continue to be managed until discharge, but no new cases will be admitted. Is the latest from the Junior Doctors Association of Ghana.
All right, so between
now and Tuesday next week.
All right. Emmanuel, try not to get sicker. Junior doctors are up in arms because of a lack of payment and a lack of goodwill, they say, shown to them by the government. This is the latest that's just hitting the airwaves this morning. Let's end on that one, and then we can part ways.
In fact, this is quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
I don't know the priority of our government. And when I say our government, not this very government, over the period. If you look at other jurisdictions, they prioritize essential services. And nurses, doctors, teachers. In other jurisdictions, they don't joke with them. But over the period, under our fourth Republican Constitution, they had to come to the street before they get what they want. What is really happening?
And there's context as well, because yesterday nurses were on the streets.
That's
they said
right.
They had not received some monies, and the one of them was crying.
So is it the case that they don't get clearance from the finance ministry before they engage these people? It shouldn't take this long. So, well,
we live to see.
We pray we don't force it. But in fact,
some of us are catching colds already.
Oh, man, stay far away. But it's
catching cold.
Eman, you've got to run away from the studio. Always a pleasure to have you. Good to see you as well. But 2 minutes to the top of the hour. If it's your birthday today, we're wishing you a very, very happy birthday indeed.
Happy birthday to you.
We've got a happy birthday going out to Queen Fina. Queen Fina, God bless you more. Hey, who sent this one? Okay. It came from Francis. Happy birthday to you, Queen Fina. God bless you more.
Gorgeous, eh?
Yeah.
Gorgeous, my dear Ellen. Not more than my dear Ellie. No,
We
at
have
all.
that on record.
Yeah,
I was
that-
about,
yeah,
More than
I was
my
about to
dearest
call the
Ellie.
security to eject you, but you've rectified the situation. This one is not a happy birthday message, though, but we want to celebrate our very own, the also equally gorgeous Enyonam Haliga.
Yeah.
Enyonam has graduated
Oh,
or
wow.
graduates today with an MA in Brands and Communication Management. We truly have the men and the women.
Absolutely.
So congrats to you, Enyo. So we won't be seeing Enyonam today then. She's going to be in full graduation mode.
she's in full graduation.
Oh
mode.
la la! Is this from the morning?
No, this is specially kept ahead of the big day. Special one.
And then today I don't know what we're going to see.
so
Enyo,
we have excerpts.
where's the party?
Where's the party?
I think we should be getting
that's
some
the question
cake
being
or
asked.
some small chops.
Where's the party as we celebrate you today? Some small chops. We'll be passing by the university a lot later as well.
Oh, fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Our
Enyo.
women are always making us proud.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so, Enyo, we celebrate you today, and we wish you a happy graduation indeed. But we're bringing the show to a close. In fact, it is exactly 10 a.m. This is where we say goodbye to you. Of course, on Monday, we will be back hot and strong with all the latest. Of course, 3 Lounge is coming up next with myself, and I've got a very special guest today on the bill. We're on from 10 till 12, so make sure you're sticking with me all the way through. But this has been 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. Your weekend might not be as energetic as Mawines, but do try and enjoy, or as relaxing as Emmanuel's. But do try and enjoy. I know these gentlemen have some interesting things lined up, so try and follow suit. Have a wonderful weekend as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
The best in the morning.